Hello everyone, Ether here and welcome back to another week of this Minecraft series. And this week we are going to be working on the back over there because we need to create a chip. And also I have been working a lot into my own crafting system for my own role-playing game. So you are going to see how this is going to work because we need to do a lot of more stuff. And I don't know if I'm going to have enough time, to be honest. So without further ado, let's jump on that right now. So as you can see already, I have been busy. I got a book here. I'm running low on sweets. And also I got cooked steak because I was been doing a lot of different stuff. So for working on what we did on the last week, I kind of polished a little bit more of the rocks, completed the whole downside in terms of the terrain. And I also make a super crazy thing, so let me show you. No one ever is going to notice this if I don't share this on stream, but I just pretty much covered every single nook and cranny in stone and gravel, even over here. And especially, for example, over here into the hoppers. I didn't want to remove this gold because I felt a little bit nostalgic about that, but kind of everything downstairs there also is covered, and also the back part here, and the little bits kind of that I got left here, that's how intended to be there, of course. So, yeah. I spent more time than I should just replacing blocks and making everything pretty much great. Even, actually, I just kept this part, but I cover everything else over here, and I just mix and match some of the gravel. And probably actually you can see how I go with this whenever I spot some weird spot like this one, for example. I just decide to get out a little bit more like that. And then in this case, I'm going to replace the gravel with the stone, so that way it's going to be merged easily. And in this case, I can't replace these ones because there's no like gravel slab or something. And we need this for making the indentation, otherwise the gravel is going to flat out go into the water here, because this watercolor, since it's cool, for some reason it can't be waterlogged, so you can't place blocks to hold the gravel there, so I need to take that kind of a liberty. But yeah, other than that, the water here is like really cool, especially the light blue, because it's giving a different shade, and it's kind of allowing me to tell this story just with the water thing. So the water is coming from there, point unknown, but for now it's this small waterfall. Then it's kind of a flowing here, going in the inner side of the cave from this part, where the cave is actually going to become here like an underwater lake. And then it's going to float over this next side where it's going to be way more open. It's going to start getting corroded, and then it's going to become entirely reddish. It's going to kind of go all the way around here. Not really, actually, I just want to showcase that, but then it's going to end up on this other side where it's going to go with the river and end up here. So that is kind of the whole journey from the water thing, and I think it's going to connect seamlessly. And then, of course, we are going to have this, which is going to be the boat that got stranded. Because the idea, we discussed a lot of this about on the stream, is I want to have a ship here that is going to be a shipwreck on this side, that they were traveling literally here, and then I done smash everything, and the ship was, boom, smash into the rocks, and well, it was a shipwreck. So the reason why the ship has not been kind of retrieved or recovered yet is for kind of too many reasons. The first was all the villagers and survivors, all of them became animals, so I want to place actually the polar bear over there, and trying to find a way that the bear is kind of going to be restricted to that part of the portion of the island. That is going to be really cool. So the polar bear is going to be like the captain of the ship or something, or the cook, we shall see. And then also what I'm going to have here is the workshop. And this pillar is marking like probably the central point of the workshop. Is going to be like a building from what is going to be my starting village over that side. And here probably this is going to be somewhat of a pond. And the workshop, it's going to showcase some of the mechanics of my own role-playing game system. And I love this idea. So I got here something that we worked on over the stream, which is my own custom crafting system. Probably you are not going to be able to take too much over there, but I made some pretty much exemplary weapons. So yeah, I explained all of them over the streams, and if you are curious, of course, you need to come by. But what I want to do with this building eventually is actually having a way for you to probably press buttons, flick levers or something while you are inside of this kind of a house, or workshop actually, and kind of being able to code mark craft your own weapon, but in Minecraft. From my own system, you know. So it's not like you're really going to craft a weapon, but you are going to, at least I'm going to be able to showcase to you how that actually is going to work. And to be honest, it's going to be like probably super complicated, but because Minecraft logic, I need to calculate a lot of different stuff, but hopefully it's going to be fine and it's going to be fun. So that's kind of going to be my idea. And I got already kind of some options on how we are going to start getting involved with that, but most probably we are going to need to carve a lot of things here for working with all the logics underground. So that's one thing. And then probably I'm going to add like a little chip here because this is still going to be a workshop, so like a small boat or something. And then the idea is kind of a this workshop is trying to work into creating the materials or the tools or the weapons in that case for making the rescue of this boat. And the cool thing about this boat is, again, it's not this diagonal because to me it doesn't make sense that the chip is like smashing to the ground, but then the water comes here. So actually the corner of the chip is there. So what we need to do now is kind of cross this lane a line from this corner all the way, but not just now over there, but all the way around that point. So probably we need to broaden this up one more line, and maybe we need to trim that down, or maybe this is just going to be enough to kind of connect on that side. And in that regard, we just need to put like this line of blocks into the wall, and that's going to be it. And maybe carve some of the rocks. But that's kind of my idea. So the backside or the the bottom part, let's call it. I know it's not right with the chip, but I'm not a chip person, so to me that's the bottom side because I don't consider anything that is underwater like part of the chip. Just weird. But yeah, that kind of a backside, if you want, is going to be the biggest kind of a Campbell's building, while the main kind of a part of the chip is going to be preserved. And I like this because this is going to be the most pointy part, it's going to be outside of the water, but the next one is going to be underwater, and then I also need to make a little bit of a diagonal up. So I was recollecting a lot of the material for that, and as you can see here, I got dark oak, spruce, and oak. I'm probably going to try to use oak and dark oak for starters, but the spruce is going to be like my safety block. And I don't have like too much time because that's going to be the next part of my week. So hopefully I'm going to be able to jump into another stream and we are going to be able to build at least something, the carcass or something on the stream. So wish me luck because, I mean, I'm going to need the luck, but you are just going to see this on the next cut. And after a whole stream on the Friday, we managed to come up with this. So let me show you with the camera here. You can notice that here we went for a wider stance of a chip, and of course it's a little bit crooked, so it's not like perfectly on a diagonal. But you can see like this part that goes kind of a smudge into the rock in itself, and a lot of the parts of the chip were kind of bulged over towards the side. And the same happened on this other one, so you can jump over and see like, yeah, this is the border rim of the whole kind of a chip here, and then some of the wooden kind of tables got crooked over because, you know, this was bang smashed against the rocks. And also the same thing happened here with this side of the chip, where this is the converted Capitan, by the way. Yep, that happened. When I done a struck down, all of the people here converted into animals, besides me, because, you know, I'm a monkey, so I survived. Shame on you, Idona. But yeah, you get the point. So, oh, hello? Yeah. So here it's kind of the cabin that we make, and I really like this because it got so many like bulges and nook and crannies that makes it interesting. And this is like the rescue boat where we probably should place it like this because we travel over here to trying to rescue the captain or something. I believe actually kind of adjust over that is going to be better. And yeah, so I added these things with the different type of chains here, and then we made these things that from far away looks like properly like the chains here, so I really like that. And we went for a door design, which is not really a door, but I like it. So this is what we came about. So this is the door that's kind of got slanted over, and then the whole border of the door goes totally smashed into this side. But you got this other door that is totally closed right now. And actually, if we go with the camera, you can see that in the inner sides were kind of at the rest of the survivors and some of the rocks, which are like the cannonballs and stuff that we collected pretty much up to this point from inside the vault. So yeah, this is what we managed to came up around this, and I really like it. I think overall came up in a really cool way. It's not too kind of overbearing in terms of the interest shape there, so whenever you are coming here, you're still probably going to pay more attention toward the portal, but they still got the eye-catching side, especially from this angle, which is going to be more towards here on the workshop. So I think overall this was like a huge success, and of course, now the thing is resting on is to fill all the boats here with probably some traveling chips or kind of things. But to be honest, that's going to be for the next week because I totally ran out of ideas. I know what to do over this chip. I thought about putting some storage containers, but then I realized like it's going to be pretty much useless. So I want to give some type of functionality like this game with something to pretty much trade with the village that is going to come around here. And that's kind of my idea. And I have kind of a run over plenty of different ideas in between of the chip kind of a type or what's going to be the story about. So the only kind of a thing that is set up in stone is that is going to be the survivor captain, because for some reason I got bears. Up to some point I was experiencing with him. I think I was trying to collect fish or something. I don't remember. But I remember that I found several bears and actually that survived. And we already killed him, so he's on max health. And yeah, it was kind of a cool place to have the bear here. And probably want to have over here, so probably 1 or 2 crabs that are going to be probably also tied here, but are going to be looking like the survivor for the workers in terms of the chip or something. But I'm going to try to give them some type of functionality. So until that is decided, probably this is going to feel a little bit more barren, and maybe we are going to make this more snowy. So first it's going to grab some of the snow here, but also it's going to tie better with the polar bear. So probably that's something that we can add later on. But the last things that we need to talk about today is kind of what I was been doing this whole weekend and pretty much on the first start of the week, and is my crafting system for my own role-playing game. So this is a lot, and I share like the first couple of hours of my streams over the Wednesday, I would say, because I was intensely working over the weekend, over the start of the week. So yeah, I spent like, I would say 3 or 4 days just polishing the system, refining it, and coming with the name and everything. And yeah, as you can see, it's called the Hex Crafting System because it's a system made on 6 points that you are going to allocate into your items that you want to craft. And of course, I'm just going to showcase a little bit so you get the idea, but I'm not going to go super deep in there. If you are interested, well, you need to go into my own streams, and I'm just going to give you a showcase now. So let me jump into the boat here, just because I can, and actually let's read this book. So this crafting system, you choose your competence, which is kind of your main skill, and then you allocate the extra points. You can never spend more than 6 points at any point into your own weapon, and then you got these 6 competences, which are your 6 skills. Skills for the crossbows, spears, sword, big weapons, mounted weapons, and of course bows and arrows. And the names are named kind of like the names of the weapon plus the word jutsu, which is the technique or the skills related to use it. So you got the do, so, ken, dai, ba, and q. And then I just made some templates on how to relate to the whole system. So I'm just going to showcase one here so you get the idea. You start with a competence, which is defining the base damage. In this case, for the Kenjutsu, we are trying to make a sword. This was our first attempt. So you start with damage 2. You got a Kamae and you got a Kaicho. The kamae is the stance, how you want to fight with the sword in this case, and the kaicho is kind of what is the critical effect of this sword, which is in this case cut, which is the ones that produce bleeding because you are fighting with a sword. So you got an inherent trait, which is a blade, which is essentially what gives you the property of cut. We made the sword long, which is changing the standing position from just standing in the ground to making use with two-handed, with a two-handed one. We made it the property of strong, so now the damage goes up to 3, and also we made it heavy because we got 3, 5, and 6, 7 points, so since the max is always 6, now we need to make the heavy property, which is kind of a for wielding. For the first one, it's a little bit harder. And yeah, easy peasy, super lemon squeezy, and if you think that is not kind of interesting enough, well, we can go with the second sword, which is the wakizachi, the shorter version of the same sword. So, same competence, the skill for fighting with the sword, starting with 2 points. The kamae is standing. For this one, you don't need to wield it with 2 hands, but whenever you are standing, it's pretty much intended to be playing with 1 hand. It also has the property of cut because it's a blade. We gave it these different properties. So this got the trait light. That means whenever you are going to wield it for the first time, it's kind of going to be easier, but also we give it the property of being hidden. And while it's hidden, it gets an extra +1 just for that turn, because it's going to be like a short sword that you can easily draw out, and that's kind of how you get 2 different feelings of sword just with one simple system. And of course, I created big weapons with different styles on damages, mounted weapons with different styles of, even this is a range one. Then we made an example of a crossbow that, as you can see, it's way more complex in terms of what cool things that you can do. We did the same with the bow, and as you can see, this even got the explosive arrows ones, and also we got like the special ones where you can become Batman pretty much. So if you're interested into stuff like this, kind of feel free to drop by on my Twitch and keep yourself tuned, because that's kind of what's going to be here inside of the workshop in the future. So that's going to be our next project. See you there. Bye bye.